What time is it? Right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to this webinar. Thank you for joining. I'm really excited to be here and to be able to speak to you tonight. Well, it's tonight here. I'm in the UK. You can probably tell by my accent. I don't know where you guys are. But please do feel free to pop any questions into the chat box. My PA Marina is on as well, as you can see. And she will be making sure that I get your questions, because I'm going to dive into a presentation now to really give you as much information as I possibly can in the next 45 minutes. So I'm going to cram it full of as much content that is going to be valuable for you as I possibly can to help you create a successful coaching business. Now, do drop in the chat box if you are coaching already, maybe you're not, just any information that might be useful to me so I can really help you. And please do ask me questions, because that's what I'm here for. So if you have questions you'd like me to answer, then do pop them in the chat box and I will be answering them for you as we go. And Marina will be picking them up as well and let me know as we go if there's questions coming through too. So I want to share my screen with you. So let me just pull up my presentation. Right, let's go. So welcome to everyone who's joining. I can see people flooding in now. So just please make sure you put your questions in the chat box, because I'm here for you today. So I want to hear your questions and I want to answer them for you to make sure we get as much out of this as possible. I'm going to be talking about the 5 secrets to becoming an outstanding coach. Now, what I mean by outstanding is there are so many coaches out there at the moment. There are so many life coaches that the market's very saturated. So how do you become an outstanding coach and grow a successful coaching business? Now, this is something that I'm going to talk to you about. I'm going to give you my 5 secrets to becoming an outstanding coach and how to do that. So again, if you've got questions, please do drop them in the chat box and I will answer them as we go. So where are you now? Now, this is really important, because for me, I'd love to know from you, for those of you on the call here, where are you right now? Now, what I'm going to share with you today is applicable whether you already have an existing coaching business and that you want to take it to the next level. So those of you that are in that box, please just jump on the chat and just let me know. Those of you who don't have a coaching business, maybe you're thinking about starting out, maybe you're not sure what to do, maybe you're thinking about it, or maybe you're not sure how to get started, then that's something that would be useful. So Sean's saying, I'm just starting out and looking for clients. Okay, great. So this is really going to be useful for you, Sean, and please do answer your question. Just drop your questions in either the Q&A box or the chat box as we go. Okay, so wherever you are in the process, I'm going to give you lots of information today to help you either start to get started to find those clients like Sean's looking for, or maybe if you've got an existing business, you want to take it to the next level. Okay, so I'm going to share with you some secrets that a lot of coaches don't know. Okay, and I'm going to give those to you in this now. Now let me see what's going on with this. Oh, okay, let me close that down. Right. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you as well about creating a global coaching business. Now, for some of you, you might be thinking, gosh, global, that's aiming too high, Sarah. I don't want to do that. Now, listen, what I want to say is you've got to reach for the stars with this. You've got to dream big. You know, every idea that's ever been created started out as just someone's idea. You know, everything that you see around you, every business concept, everything, whether the chair you're sitting on right now, it started as an idea in someone's head. So you have to dream big. Okay, so please don't put any ceilings on this. When I started out, I've been coaching for over 25 years, but when I started out my business, my divorce, the breakup coaching business, I started this part of my business about 10 years ago. And my accountant said to me, well, we need a name to put on Companies House here in the UK to register your business. So what do you want it to be called? Sarah Davison Coaching or what? And I said, no, I want to call it Sarah Davison Global Enterprises Limited. And he just started laughing. He was like, what? Okay, Sarah, well, at the moment it's you at home and really? And I said, yes, because it will be one day. It will be global, Dan. And to this day, we still talk about it because he's still my accountant because he's great. But he was the one that said, Zara, no. So what I'm saying is you've got to dream big. Like, I didn't know my business was going to be global, but I wanted it to be global. I didn't know how, but I had the passion and I had the vision. I just didn't know the how. So if you're still sitting there thinking, I don't have the how, that doesn't stop you from dreaming big. In fact, I insist you dream big, guys. Okay. So I've created a global coaching business. I have 2 books, actually. The Split is my second book, which was actually out in the States. And that is The Split from Breakup to Breakthrough in 30 days or less, which is a 30-day plan to get from breakup to breakthrough. Now, I specialize, as you know, in breakup and divorce. So the tools I'm going to share with you today are for any coaching business, okay? But I'm going to give you some real secrets into how you become super successful with your coaching brand. My first book was Uncoupling, from breakup to, how to survive and thrive after breakup and divorce. And this was my first book. This book has been translated into Chinese. It sells around the world, and they are both bestsellers. They're both bestsellers. So I'm also very well known for my breakup recovery retreats. Okay, so my business includes retreats, which are where I take people away and we do a live event at this beautiful place. This isn't my house, by the way. I wish it was my house, but it's not my house. This is the hotel that I use in the UK, and I have people flying in from all over the world, just from the States, from Turkey, from Greece, from Australia. I've had people come from the other side of the world to come to these retreats. Now, they're all over the media, these retreats, because they stick in. The media love it because they've branded it Heartbreak Hotel in the press here, and I get a lot of coverage for that, which again helps me grow my business. So these are things that I want to share with you, because these are techniques that I've used to grow my business that you can easily do as well. So I'm going to come back to how in a minute, but I'm just showing you what the situation is and how you grow it. So the next thing is I've created online courses. So I have the retreat now is available as an online video product. Okay. And I train people to become breakup and divorce coaches. I have an accreditation program as well. So I have an online program where people can come and become a breakup and divorce coach too. So I give you all the skills to do that. That's another revenue stream. As well as for my business, I am well known in the UK. I'm often in the media. I comment on anything to do with breakups and divorce. So the press will come to me now as a commentator in my field, okay, which is something which I highly advise you as coaches to work towards. I'm going to show you how later on. I do TV work, I do radio work, and I'm also the patron of the Dash charity, which is a cause that's very close to my heart. As a survivor of domestic abuse, I help now other people coming out of toxic relationships and help them piece things back together and boost their confidence. Now, that's not my whole business, but it is a section of my business, and I'm known as an expert in that area. Again, I'm going to show you how you can do this too. Now, one of the things that I see a lot with my coaches that come through to be trained by me is that they're very confused. So are you confused right now? Because quite often when you're a coach, the market is absolutely saturated and you don't know which way to turn. You know, there's so many options out there. You know, how do you move forward? Now, this can be quite a challenge because there's so much information out there. So how do you get rid of that confusion and find your way forward? There are so many coaching programs you can do. There are so many things that books you can read and things like that. So how do you find clarity in a market where everything is so confusing? I see coaches coming to me saying, Sarah, I've done this course, but I still don't know what to say to clients. Or I've got this qualification, but I'm still not sure what techniques to use in that situation, or I just don't have the confidence. So that's what I want to take away from you today. I want to give you some real tools that give you the confidence to be an outstanding coach. Now, there's lots of techniques out there in the marketplace that tinker around the edges, to be quite frank. You see a client and they go, so for example, Sean, who I know is on this call, for example, Sean, if you had a client and you use these techniques, they go, yeah, Sean was okay. Now, we don't want Sean to be okay. We want Sean to blow the doors off, as we do with all of you. We want you to blow the doors off with your clients and create these massive positive transformations. That's what we want, okay? That's what I want for you. And that's what I'm going to show you here, and how you can get that so you can grow your coaching brand, okay? Because you can be the best coach in the world, but if nobody knows you're there, then you're not going to get any clients. And whilst you may have a real passion, and I hope you do, for making a difference and helping people, we want you to create an income stream from this business so you can enjoy it and relax and grow a business that you love, but also that helps you live your lifestyle. So, yes, so this is always a good question here. So how do you apply what you know? Now, the thing is, we will have read, and I'm sure you have as well, read lots and lots of books on coaching. So all those different techniques I was telling you about, all those different courses you may have done. You know, has anyone here done lots of courses? I bet you have. I bet some of you have done lots of coaching courses. Maybe you've got your NLP, maybe you've done a coaching course, maybe you've done a hypnotherapy course. But actually, are you coaching? And the proof is, do you have clients? Are you seeing clients? Are you attracting clients to you? And again, this is something that I see all the time. People coming to me saying, well, I've done this, I've read all these books. And the same was for me. I have a library in my home full of hundreds and hundreds of books that I read. You know, I spent thousands and thousands of pounds on courses, on doing different courses. I'm the one that did the NLP, my master practitioner as well. I did my hypnotherapy, I did my EFT, I did my coaching. I did hundreds of courses around the world. But still, I wasn't sure how to take action. And this is something that people don't know. They see my global brand. They see my success now as a coach. What they don't realize is I started out confused. I started out without that clarity, just as so many of you I know are. So how do we help you move forward with that? Also, something that I hear a lot from my coaches is, I have the fear. You know, do you know what the fear is? The fear is when you are worried that actually, what happens if you have a client that comes for a session and you've worked really hard, you've got this client, they've come to see you, or maybe you're doing it over Zooms. Most of coaching is done now over Zoom given COVID. So they're sitting there, what happens if you get brain freeze? What happens if you don't know what to say to the client? What happens if they tell you all these things and they open up to you? Yeah, and you're like, I don't know what to say to them. I don't know how to help. I can't give them value. So that makes you feel not confident. That makes you retreat. That makes you think, oh gosh, I can't do this. I can't do this. This is like, oh, I'm, you know, so then you don't do it. Does that sound familiar to anyone? Is anyone in that situation where you just don't feel confident, so you don't do things, so you don't drive your business forward because deep down you have that imposter syndrome, you know, where you think, gosh, what happens if they don't think I'm any good? Or what happens if I'm charging them money for this and I can't deliver the value? Oh, Sean says, yes, spot on so far. Thanks, Sean. Yeah. Well, you know, you're not alone, Sean. This is super common. Okay. This is what I see. And this is what I went through. You know, I'd done all these qualifications. I'd spent thousands of pounds learning these techniques, but actually how do you apply them is a whole different thing. So I'm going to give you today some cheats so that you can really fast forward your business, but also give yourself the confidence that you need to move forward too, which is really important. Because you can be the best coach with all these skills. As I found out, I know a lot of you watching and finding out, gosh, I've got all these skills, all these tools, but I don't know how to use them. How do I use this to grow my coaching business? And there's different ways of growing your business, remember. There's growing it financially, which is super important, but there's also growing that, which means you need to find clients, don't you? You need to attract clients. But you don't want to attract any old client. You want to attract your ideal clients. In a perfect world, you want to attract the clients that you can best help. There's no point attracting clients that can't afford you. There's no point attracting clients who want help that isn't your area of expertise or that you really don't have the skills to help. There's no point attracting clients who really don't want the help that you're offering. So, you know, there's lots of different ways to grow your business. We need to really look for you at what works for you. Okay, so it's not, there's some of these things you need to tailor to you to really fast track. And there's so many things here that I want to share with you. What I'm going to give you is my shortcut and fast track to you growing your global coaching business. Now, again, you can take these and just grow it in your local area. You can grow it in just a smaller area, or you can take it just for your country, or you can take it worldwide. Okay, all the techniques I'm sharing with you, you can scale up, scale down, you know, tweak for you. Okay, but what I want to do is give you the benefit of the thousands of pounds that I've spent, the hundreds and thousands of hours, the years of my life I've spent in seminars listening to the world's top experts. I was lucky enough to train with people like Anthony Robbins. I'm sure you know him, those of you in the States. He's like the #1 motivational speaker. I think, for me. But there's so many on the Best You. There's so many incredible speakers as well nowadays that the market is just, wow, we've got so much wealth to choose from. So we're lucky now. When I started out 25 years ago, really Robbins was the main guy. So I trained with him and I was lucky enough to do some work with his company. Then also, Richard Bandler, who created NLP. You know, I'm lucky that he's over in the UK, and so I trained with him. And Paul McKenna, who's a well-known hypnotherapist, he's written lots of books. I Can Make You Sleep, I Can Make You Happy, I Can Make You Confident. So Paul became a very dear friend of mine, but I also studied with him and I trained to be a hypnotherapist with him. I've also studied EFT, the tapping and things like that. I also have studied with some of the world's best healers. So I've got a whole different set of skills from lots of different areas, which I've combined, and I've modeled the best people and I've grown my business. So I'm going to show you how I've done it so you can take those techniques and use them on your business. Okay, so my 5 secrets are really, really simple and easy to use, but so many people don't realize this. So number 1, secret number 1 is be yourself. Now, why I say this is because people say, well, I want to be like somebody. So for example, when I first started out, I thought, wow, Tony's awesome. I want to be like Tony Robbins. But for those of you who know Tony Robbins, he's 6'7". He's male for a start, I'm female. He's massive and he's got all this energy and he just goes on stage for like, you know, nearly 24 hours a day. He's insane. And I thought I need to be like that to be successful. But then I quickly realized that that wasn't my style. That's not who I am. And I thought, okay, well, who else? Well, maybe Paul McKenna, because he's well known in the UK and he's got this style. But Paul is super funny. Like, he's a really funny guy, as well as being super bright and switched on. He is also, you know, super funny. And that isn't really necessarily my thing. So, you know, it wasn't flowing for me. So, you know, you can spend a lot of time trying to be someone else, but really, if you're trying to be that person, they've got them down. You know, you're not going to get anywhere being somewhere else. The important thing as a coach is to be comfortable with who you are and look at your strengths, look at your personal experience, look at how you want to work your business and create your own coaching personality that you want to be comfortable in, that is true to you. So one of my coaches, she joined my coaching community and she was training with me to become a breakup and divorce coach. And during a webinar that I was doing, she said, Sarah, the problem I have is that I'm not as confident as you. I couldn't do the videos you do. I couldn't go live and speak to big audiences like you do. I couldn't do TV or radio. It would terrify me. I'm just not confident. You know, I'm quite shy. I'm quite quiet. She's much slower paced than me. And she said, so I don't know if I'm going to be successful. And I was like, oh my goodness, you see, this is a great question. This is a great point you raised, because it's not about being a mini me. It's about being the best you. Ironically, the show is the best you. So, you know, but it is about being the best you guys. And you have to look at your strengths and your weaknesses and find a way forward that works for you. Now, how do you do that? Well, you know, look at the things that motivate you, that drive you. Think about the kind of clients that you want that would fit your personality. Because I can tell you now, the clients that are attracted to this coach now are clients that would be intimidated by me. They wouldn't want to come and be my client. And there's more than enough clients for everybody. So we have to find our own unique way of doing things, but that's got to be congruent with who you are. So please, I know it's really tempting, and I spent wasted years trying to be like somebody else. It was only when I realized actually the freedom and the power to be truly successful comes from when you embrace your strengths and weaknesses. For example, I haven't got a great memory. So quite often I forget things, and I thought that was going to hold me back. But actually that weakness is actually a positive when you're dealing with domestic abuse, because you can't hold all those things in your head. So actually trying to see your weaknesses and find a way forward to either work around them or embrace them, or just not encompass them in your business. Maybe you don't need to give advice on that certain area. Maybe you don't need to. And if it's causing you problems, don't. So what I want you to do is focus on being yourself, because only when you're truly you can your business fly, okay? And you'll see this with people. You know, people look at, you know, all the successful speakers that are out there. They've found their groove. They're being them. They've got their own stories, their own mission, their own personality, and they're attracting the client base because they're true to themselves. And people will resonate with that. People will find that, and they will come to you for those things. I promise you. So staying true to you is really important. Now, secret number 2. This is absolutely critical. So please, if you take one thing from this presentation today, take this: find a niche. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, the life coaching market is totally saturated. There are so many life coaches in the world. If you type in, as if you're a client, imagine you're a client looking for a life coach, and you type into the internet, find a life coach, you're going to get every person that, you know, just coming up. And there's the only way that you can successfully stand up and put your head above the parapet like this balloon, put your head above the parapet and stand out, is to create a niche for yourself. So what is a niche? Well, a niche could be, for example, my niche is breakup and divorce. Now, having a niche does not mean that's all you do. Okay, so for example, I coach breakup and divorce, but when people come, they find me that way. Okay, they find me because they're going through a specific issue. So they type in, I'm struggling with divorce, I'll come up. And because it's a niche industry, there's not that many people who are in that niche. So they go, oh, okay. So they'll find that niche, but then within your niche, you can become an expert within that niche as well. So my area of specialty is domestic abuse survivors and helping them come out of toxic relationships. So you can have a niche within a niche, but you need to have a niche. And I'll tell you why, because you want to become an expert in that niche. Okay, and I'm going to talk a bit about that in a minute, but finding your niche area is something that it has to be a passion of yours. It has to be something that resonates. So you might want to be a fitness coach. You might be passionate about nutrition. You might want to be, for example, I've got coaches in my coaching community that are breakup coaches, but I've got a breakup and bereavement coach. For example, her husband sadly died and she's got all that personal experience. And this is where you really need to dig deep and look inside you. What is your personal experience that you bring to the table that makes you unique? You know, I was having a call with a lady the other day who is thinking about joining my coaching community, and we were talking about her finding her niche. And it came out during the conversation that she's in a wheelchair, and because she had an accident very tragically when she was 15, she broke her back. And ever since then, she's never been able to walk. But she's a really incredible woman, and her story was so empowering and inspiring. She was telling me how she's overcome that and she doesn't look back, and she now sees it as a blessing and all the opportunities she's had and the career she's forged. And then she says to me, well, I don't know what my niche would be. And I was like, wow, you've got all this experience. You know, if you've been through a tough time and you've turned it around, that could be your niche. If you're passionate about helping others to cope better. Now, I went through a really difficult divorce over 10 years ago, and I'd been coaching at that point for 15 years. And when I went through my divorce, it hit me like a freight train. I didn't see it coming. My son was only 1. My ex moved on very quickly, started a new family. We're talking months. And I had to watch from the sidelines as he moved on happy and in love. And I was devastated and left reeling from this. But as a coach, I knew that you could turn things around. And what I realized was that I wanted to take this personal experience of real pain and trauma, and I wanted to help other people. So I combined my coaching experience with my divorce and breakup experience. And I kind of put together a program to help me through. And that is what I use today to help other people. So what have you been through? Like this lady in the wheelchair, she's got an experience there which would benefit so many people in that situation. It's a niche market, but there is a market there of people that would really embrace that information and need it. And it doesn't just have to be specific to that. It could be any accident that's left people with difficulties that they have to overcome. So what is it for you? What have you been through that actually for you, that you want, that you can use, you can dig deep and turn around? Because that's where you're going to get your passion from. That's where you're going to get your fire in your belly to say, I know what I'm talking about. And you're also using your experience. But it's not just about that person's experience. Of course, you need to combine that with techniques. You need to combine that with strategies that are going to help you blow the doors off that I was talking about. You need those techniques and you need those strategies. But, you know, in order to do that, you know, you need to have those skills as well as a coach. But you do need to find your niche, because do you see how this just gets you above? So that's why I do my marketing. That's why I have a niche, and that's how clients find me. It's almost like a funnel. You need a big funnel, so you get as many people in the top as you can, and then they filter through, and then the clients that are going to come to you and be paying clients will then come through that filter. So how do you build on that niche once you've identified it? Well, my secret number 3 is you become the expert. Now, again, this is overlooked by so many coaches. They say, well, I'm a coach. Okay, well, what's your area of expertise? Well, you know, and if they don't know, then how do clients know to find you? You have to be really definitive here. You have to become the expert. So once you've defined your niche, how do you then? I'm going to give you the how. How do you become the expert? Well, what you do is you start to be known as the go-to person on that topic. Now, you might have to start blogging. You know, I wrote for free for many, many years. I still do. You know, if there's an article that comes out in a newspaper or magazine, or there's some story on the news, you grab it if it's related to your niche. If there's a breakup that I hear going on, a celebrity breakup, or something in the news about divorce rates spiking, or the family law situation, or the court system, I'll jump on it and I'll either retweet it or repost it on my social media, so that people following me say, gosh, she knows what she's talking about. This is her area, because I'm posting these relevant stories on and they have to be relevant to your niche, guys. You've got to keep it, because otherwise people go, oh, they're all over the place. You know, you're the expert on this topic. So anything that comes in, you repost, but you put your own comment on it. Now, this doesn't have to be reams. It can be a couple of sentences saying, I agree with this because, or my opinion is this, or I see this a lot with my clients, this is what I see, or what do you guys think, and get people to interact with you on social media. But this is really important, okay? It's really important that you engage as the expert. And now there's different ways of doing it. You can do it through social media. I would absolutely recommend that you do that. Now, pick the social media channel, of course, that works best for your clients. So it might be that your clients are more professional based, in which case LinkedIn might be the best platform for you. Or it might be that they're, you know, a certain demographic, in which case Instagram might work better for you, or Facebook might work better for you. But don't worry about becoming an expert of all the platforms, because that's really tough to do. You've got to focus on one and build that first. You know, so I started with Facebook because it was great for my demographic, and I built my Facebook. And then when Instagram became more popular, then I moved over. But you can't necessarily use the same content. So what I find is that Instagram tends to be a bit more personal, behind the scenes, a bit more chatty, a lot more videos. Whereas Facebook for me tends to be articles and tweeting and some videos as well, but it's a slightly different feel. So you've got to work out for you what works for your ideal clients. But by thinking about your niche, you're going to find that because you're defining your niche, your ideal clients are going to find you, because they're going to type in, if it's fitness, or how do I stay healthy, or how do I lose weight, or I want to grow a business. And I go, oh, there's a business coach. Okay, but this business coach has an expertise in growing a business from scratch, or creating a second income stream, or, you know, women in business, or, you know, men over 50 in business, or, you know, managing business and home struggles, or how to get balance in your business and your home life. Wherever you want to become the expert, you know, and then blog about it, write about it. You can give comments to newspapers, where you just write a press release, which basically has to be catchy, it has to be relevant, it can't be sort of boring and staged, and it cannot be a business pitch for you. Don't feel that you have to sell your services. Just giving your comment and getting your name in a paper, someone will Google you after that. You know, find out, well, this person sounds like they have something intelligent to say, I would like to know more about them. And once you start getting your name out there in the press, then that will start to snowball, because journalists, if you're reliable, you respond quickly, you've got quick turnaround rates, they'll phone you and say, hey, I had someone this morning from the Daily Mail, can you quickly turn something around? I want to do an article, my deadline's 2 o'clock this afternoon, can you just give me a couple of comments? So I just said, yeah, I'll fire something over, typed it up, sent it. I was on my phone, just did it on my phone, typed it up, sent it over. Brilliant, great, that will be online tomorrow. So, you know, you can get to the stage where you're doing things like that, but you have to work your way up. You know, you might need to send articles to your local newspaper for free for a while. You might want to give articles content for free on on online blogs. But the beauty at the moment is there's so many online platforms that are crying out for free content that you can get your content out there. But guys, it takes hard work. You know, you have to work hard. So you have to write the article, and then you have to push it out there, and you might have to push it out to several different people. You know, you can use PR agencies or PR experts, but you don't need them. You don't need them, and I wouldn't be spending money until you're earning money. So you can do this yourself, or even if you just got a blog on your homepage and you update it every day with a different topic, or even once a week, but doing something regularly is the key to define yourself as the expert in your field. It's really, really important. Okay, so far so good. Okay, Marina, any questions that are coming in at the moment? Because I'm cracking on here.
No questions at the moment, Sarah, no.
Okay. So if you do have any questions, just jump in, guys, put them in the chat box, put them in the Q&A box, and I will come to them and answer them. Absolutely. I want to make sure I give you as much value as possible, guys, in this session, because this is what I'm here for. I'm here for you. So do let me know, and I will answer any questions that you have. And if there's long questions, I'll come to them at the end. Okay, secret number 4 is learn the skills you need. So as I said, you know, you do need it. You can use your personal experience, you create your niche, you are staying true to yourself as a coach, not trying to be somebody else. You know, don't try that. You know, you've got to be true to yourself. And that's what when I'm coaching all my coaches, that's what I say. We've got so many different personalities. We've got different ages. I've got one young girl who was left when she was pregnant, and her niche is girls that were left when they're pregnant in their 20s. She's not trying to work with over 50s women or men. That's just her little niche, and she does really well at it because she's focused and she attracts those people in. I've got another guy who, you know, he's a male coach and he's in his 50s, and he's the kind of guy that likes a drink, you know, he likes a pint, and he's kind of you know, he doesn't have your typical sort of stereotype coach impression, because he's kind of like the guy you chat to in the pub, kind of whose men would chat to in the pub over a pint. And that's his brand. You know, he is the kind of pub coach, you know, he's that kind of, and he was trying to become all sort of more well refined and more elegant, and in the end I just said, just be yourself. And actually that's opened up a huge market, because there's guys that don't want all the airs and graces, that aren't that professional in their work life, who just want to sit and talk to a normal bloke across and have a pint. I mean, they don't drink during the sessions, but that's like his branding is kind of like your everyday down to earth guy who's going to give you coaching. And as soon as he stepped into that niche, his business started to grow, because he was comfortable with that and he had integrity with that. And that's what I want for you. Don't think because you're you, that's a weakness. That's not it. Because you're you, that's your strength, okay? So secret number 4, learn the skills you need. Now, this is really important. And this is where your confidence will tip, because if you don't have the coaching skills to blow the doors off that I was talking about in the beginning, not just tinker around the edges, you want those skills that are going to blow the doors off. If you want those skills, then you've got to go get them. Okay, and there's lots of different coaching courses out there, as I said, and NLP is really powerful. I know Bernardo, who runs the Best You, he does coaching, the NLP courses, and I studied those many years ago. But for me, they're branching out. You can learn the skills, but you've got to know how to apply those skills, okay? And that's what I teach my coaches, is how to take the skills and apply them to real life. So, for example, one of my skills is the people reading radar. Now, we all need to really focus on this, because it's a great life skill, whether you use it as a coach or whether you just, and to grow your business with your clients, is absolutely essential. But you can practice this in everyday life. And if you have kids, I would definitely suggest you teach this to them at a young age, because it becomes part of who you are if you start looking at the world this way, taking off the blinkers. Now, what it consists of is, for example, this is a great thing to practice on the bus or walking down the street, is to find, or even in a coffee shop, you know, and I trained sales teams over the years and coaches over the years. We often take people who go and sit in a coffee shop and just see the world go by. And what can you tell about somebody from just looking? And this is a really important skill if you've got clients that you're speaking to, because a lot of the words they're using, they might be covering up. They may not feel comfortable to open up to you yet. They might not know some of these things themselves consciously. So you've got to be looking for their body language. You've got to be looking for the physical signs that aren't the verbal signs, okay? Because a lot of communication is through your body. So we need to get really good at understanding not just body language, but what you can see. So, for example, looking at things of, you know, how are they dressed? You know, can you tell what job they do by what they're wearing? Can you tell if they're married or not, potentially? Can you tell what their personality might be just by the clothes they're wearing, maybe the jewelry they're wearing, the shoes they're wearing, the watch they're wearing? I want you to start tuning in past just listening. I want you to tune right in and really analyze that person. But the challenge with the people reading radar, which people often mistake, is that they see them through their eyes. So you're looking at somebody through your own eyes. Now, what you need to do, and this is the tricky part, is actually shift into their shoes. You need to shift into their shoes with their body weight, their body style, their dress sense, their mentality, because you really need to start seeing life through their eyes. Now, this is a big ask, I guess. But why I'm saying this is because you might look at someone, and I'm sure we've all done this, right? Looked at someone and thought, ooh, she's in a real mood. She's in a right mood, that woman. But actually, what she has is resting bitch face. You know what I mean? Where someone's face is just a scowl, but that's just their relaxed face. This is their relaxed face. And you're looking at it thinking, gosh, if that was me, I'd be in a right mood. But actually this person, that is their relaxed face. That's relaxed. I'm relaxed. I'm very relaxed. This is how I look. Yeah, we all know people like that. So you can't judge through you. So if you were doing that face, it doesn't matter how you'd feel, but what is it for them? Now that's the expertise that takes you from being an average coach to an outstanding coach. And how do you get there? You practice. You practice this, you practice, because you know you can watch people all the time. If you get used to tuning in, your body, you'll pick up instinctively a lot of information. Once you start to notice the little things, you notice that actually when they're smiling, their whole face lights up. Or actually when they're smiling, it makes very little difference to their face. Or, are they frowning? Are they worried? Or are they just pensive? They're just thinking about something. These are distinctions which you can only really learn by practicing with lots of different people and just practicing over and over again. So this is really important. This is a really powerful skill for a coach, because someone walks into your clinic, especially mine, most of them are very upset. So you get all that, but you get that they're upset because they might be shrugging it down, or they might actually physically be crying. And then they might tell you how sad they are, but they might give you a few glimmers of actually, so I have a woman that came in, she had a bright flower behind her ear. She had a bright pink top and yellow shoes with this big flower on them as well. So, but she was sad. But I could see that that wasn't her natural state, because the way she was dressed showed me her personality was bigger than how she was feeling. So this state of being sad was quite unusual. It's very uncomfortable for her. You need to really start to look and define, how does someone walk when they're confident, or when they're, the difference between confident and cocky, or the difference between sad and angry, or pensive, or just tired. You might look fed up, but actually maybe they're just tired. They're quite happy and content, but they're tired. These are things that you need to practice by watching people and just seeing, because everybody is different. And once as a coach, you can distinguish between assuming, which is actually the downfall of all coaching, where you start to assume. You say, oh, they're doing that and they're doing that, so that means this. No. Because this is their recipe. This is their strategy for life. It's not yours. So you cannot assume. You cannot assume. But what you can do is start training your brain to remove you from the picture, your judgment, your assumptions. So you look at it and think, well, if I was them in their position with that going on in their life right now, then what comes next? As a coach, our techniques are to unpack the situation, not to tell people what to do, but to unpack all the options and explore them and try different avenues. And the homework we set, the action plans that all my coaches give their clients are possible way forwards to explore this way, to explore that way, not saying, oh, well, in your situation, do this. That's not our job. Our job is to ask a better question. If we're not sure, to avoid assumption, what do you do? To avoid assumption, you ask a question, an open question, which enables them to give you more information so you can dig deeper. And if that's not enough and you still find yourself going, well, what's next? You need to ask another question to dig deeper and unpack that further, and unpack and unpack and unpack. So sometimes you might go way off down into this sort of questioning to get to the nub of what's going on. And then you can say, okay, well, that's one option. What about this option? Oh, I don't want to do that. Okay, I understand you don't want to do that, but let's have a look at it. A lot of people will come to me, especially with breakups and especially divorce, will say, oh, I've got to sell the marital home, but I don't want to. I want to stay there. And they're set on staying in the marital home, which you can understand why. That's a normal emotional response if your kids have grown up there, or you're particularly attached to it, or maybe you decorated it and you spent a lot of money on it, or someone's left you and you don't see why you should have to leave your home because they've made that decision. However, that's a myopic view that a lot of clients will come to you with. It's just the normal human reaction. So your job is to unpack that and explain and find out why and get them to talk to you and explain all that, but then also to explore the other option. And as a coach, to be an outstanding coach, you can't be afraid to go to the other option, even if they're resistant, and encourage them to open up and unpack that with you. So that you say, okay, I know that you don't want to, but let's just look at this as another option. And the number of times that you go down that and you unpack those options, you go, well, if you could go anywhere, where would it be? I had a client the other day saying, oh, well, I always wanted to live out of town, actually, but my husband wanted to live in town, which is why we live in town. And I always wanted a cottage. And I always wanted, to be near a stream or a river or a forest or something more natural, not in a city. And as she started to think about it, she was like, oh, yeah, no, I did want that. But I still want to stay in the marriage. So, okay, your job is not to change somebody's mind. It's to get them thinking about other opportunities. And then in your action plan with them in that session, this is where you become an outstanding coach, guys. So listen up. In your action plan with them, you task them to go and explore that a little bit further. So, but with a specific action, not something they have to go and think about, because then they'll never do it. Something like, right, I want you to go on Rightmove or whatever the website is with the homes and just maybe go and visit 1 or 2 places before you see me again in that fit that bill, that kind of match that criteria. I know you don't want to do that, but just go and have a look on Rightmove first. Just go and have a look, see what's out there, and maybe go and visit 1 or 2 of them before you come back. The number of times clients have gone away and done that, come back and go, oh my God, I found the most amazing home. I'm totally moving. I'm still going to miss my home, but I think it's the right decision. Having stepped into that other world, physically experienced that, I now see. So can you see how by open questions and unpacking and getting the skills, this is the skill of questioning we're talking about now, where you get them to unpack and explore, putting all the options on the table. There might be another option, going down those avenues and coming up with like 3 or 4 actions from that to go and explore. I know you might not want to do it, but how about you go away and try it? And then at least you'll have more clarity, because as a coach, you want to increase their clarity. If clients are struggling to make decisions, it's because they don't have enough clarity. If you and I don't have enough clarity, it's very hard to make a decision, and we'll go round and round in circles. So as their coach, we need to be saying, look, it's understandable you're struggling here to get clarity. I get why you're struggling. However, a way to get that clarity is to ask a better question and to know more about what's going on. When you've explored these 2, 3, 4 options and gone away and completed your actions, simple, easy to tick off actions on your action plan, then you're going to have more clarity. Then you'll be in a better place to make a better decision. And you'll see how they go, oh my goodness, I went away, I did what that coach said. And now I'm being able to make a decision about where I'm going to live or what I'm going to do. All of a sudden, you've become a transformational coach. All of a sudden, you're making a massive positive difference. All of a sudden, that $100 or whatever they spent with you in that hour or however long it was has blown the doors off their life, so that you're enabling them to move forward with more confidence and more positivity. So can you see how these skills are super, super important? So finding those skills, but the practical skills. See, what I've taught you there, and just that with that questioning and the people reading radar, are practical skills that you can use right now and apply to your clients. So when they walk in the door, you're looking them up and down, you're assessing them, you're getting a fuller picture by really noticing the details, which will give something to you, which you may not have noticed before, which will help you. Plus, you're using the questioning skills, plus all the other skills that are out there to help you really transform those clients and give them those positive transformations, which is what we want from them.
Sarah, we've got a couple of questions through.
Okay, great.
The first one's from Morali, and he said, relating to what you were just talking about, actually, how do you ensure that your client follows the instructions or tasks after your sessions?
That's a great question, Morali. Thank you for asking that. You can't control what your clients do after the session, so that's a really good point. But what I would say, if your clients are not following your actions, then it's because your actions are too big. For example, if you said to someone, someone said, oh, I want to lose weight, and you said to them, yeah, okay, well, you need to, maybe stop eating so much, or whatever, you identify what it is, and say, right, okay, we'll go away and put a plan together. That's too much. To be an outstanding coach, to get those powerful transformations, you need to literally give it to them on a plate. So in your session, that becomes the focus, okay? So forget all the other stuff, focus, that's the outcome they want, then you get really detailed with them. Okay, so what are you going to eat? When are you going to eat? What time are you going to eat? What foods are you going to eat? How's it going to work? You put it down to the minutiae, like when I was talking about the home, Yeah, it's not like, oh, we'll go away and have a think about what home. No, specifically, what is the home? So you do the hard work with them, you go through the thought process, you really get the details out of them, so that all they need to go and do is type in thatched cottage in wherever, whatever part of the country, on Rightmove. So on their action list, it's a very simple tick box to pull up Rightmove, type in the things that we've already, there's no thought process in that. You're literally spoon feeding it to them. But it's from them, obviously you've created it together, but you give them that in that action plan. So there's no going away, trying to think of something, what would it be? I don't know, maybe I'd like to live here. You do all that. So you take away all the guesswork. So the action list is just super simple and easy. Okay, and that's how you get them, because then they can go home and it's easy. If you give them homework, which they have to think about and it takes them a while, they're never going to do it. Even the best coach in the world, they're never going to do it. The trick is to spoon feed it, to give it everything, the finished product. So all they need to do is kick it in the goal. You're working down the field with them, passing backwards and forwards, coming up with ideas, but then you literally give it to them and you literally tee it up right in front of the goal. So all they have to do is kick, is literally plop into the goal or whatever, you literally give it to them so they can dunk it from there. It's literally, that's how you do it. That's how you get clients to follow through on their action plan. And also as a coach, you need to make sure that this is what they want. Obviously, there's no point setting goals and that, like, oh, well, I'm not really bothered about moving house at the moment. It's got to be like, I really want to do this. Can you help me? And then you've got to get to the nub of where their passion is, where they really are going to see some benefit. So yeah, I hope that answered the question. Was there another one, Marina?
Yes, Sean asked about what you were referring to here, which he said you're referring to the delivery as opposed to step 3, which is focused on the knowledge itself to actually deliver the coaching or mentoring. So I think what you were just talking about in the slides, you're talking about delivering the coaching or mentoring rather than the knowledge. Does that make sense?
What's he actually written? What's the actual question?
So he said the skills you are referring to here in the delivery as opposed to step 3, which is focused on the knowledge itself to actually deliver the coaching or mentoring.
So what's the actual question? Sorry, Sean, I want to give you the best answer. I'm not really sure I know what the
yeah, that's what Sean's typed. So I think he was just looking for some clarification.
Okay, maybe Sean, if you could just type something. I'm not really sure. Sorry, I'm sure I'm just being a bit stupid. So just tell me exactly what. I mean, I was talking about delivery of coaching, but then I have talked about some of the skills as well. So maybe have I covered that yet, or if not, could you just make it a bit easier for me to grasp, because I want to give you the right answer. I'm not sure what you're asking me there. Sorry. Okay, Marina, anything else?
Yeah, Sean said, yeah, you've clarified in the response. So yes, yeah, you've clarified. It's fine, Sean said, but no other questions.
Okay, fab. All right, so we've covered the skills there that you need. So thanks for the questions, guys. They're really helpful. I'm hoping that I'm giving you the answers you need here, because this stuff is going to make a massive difference to your business. I wish someone had given me this when I started out 20 years ago, because this really will help you fast track what you're doing. Secret number 5, guys, this is so important. And yeah, to be honest, most coaches miss this. Okay. And it sounds so simple, but branding is key. This is something Bernardo always talks. Bernardo Moyo, who's running The Best You. He always says about my products is that the branding is super strong. And this is because I value it so highly. And it's something that is underestimated by most coaches, Now, what do I mean by branding? I mean how things look and how they flow. So for example, here you'll see some of the products, my business cards, stationery. I mean, you may not have all this, but your website, my book, the color is the same, the split. Again, branding is the same fonts, the same colors, everything flows through with your branding. So what is a brand? Okay, you need a brand. Okay, I know we're not talking like your big corporate business, but as a coach, you need your own personal brand. Now, again, this is not to copy off somebody else, okay? And I've had this discussion with coach. I just want to be like you. I'm like, yeah, but my brand is very personal to me, and that it reflects my personality, my mission, my beliefs, where I want to take my business, my style of coaching, which cannot be the same as yours because you're not me. So in order to be truly successful, you have to figure out what your brand is. And there's a little way of doing it, which is basically to think about 4, 5, 6 words that encompass who you are as a coach or who you want to be as a coach. So that might be warm, it might be empathetic, it might be inspiring, it might be relatable, it might be confident, it might be results focused, you know, it depends what kind of, you know, it might be professional and elegant, it might be, you know, whatever it is for you, but I want that to come from you. You know, it's not something you can cheat sheet copy off your neighbor. You can't do that. And that's why it takes a little bit of time, a little bit of thought to kind of think, okay, I want to grow my business, but actually to be the professional coach, to have that brand that stands out above the parapet from everybody else, you've got to do this consciously. You've got to think, as you're designing your website, before you design your website, you know, what are the things you're looking at here? How are you growing your business? How are you maximizing what you're doing? Because people need to see your messaging clear and crystal clear and simple and easy to recognize. And then when people see something, they go, oh yeah, that's Sean's brand. Oh yeah, that's Debbie's brand. Oh yeah, that's Jana's brand. You know, they need to know that. And it needs to be consistent. Otherwise, a confused mind never buys, guys. A confused mind's like, well, that looks kind of very corporate and professional. And remember, as a coach, you know, if you're dealing with corporate professionals in a professional world, yeah, that might be a good way to go. But for me, I'm not dealing with office workers. I'm dealing with people who are heartbroken. So for me, breakup and divorce needs to be warm colors. It needs to be nurturing colors. You know, maybe you're a fitness coach, you maybe want it empowering with a bit more sort of, you know, sunshine and outdoors pictures and, you know, that sort of thing, or, you know, also transformational pictures. You've got to think about, you know, what, if you're a client coming to you, and research it, talk to people, test it out, people. What do you think? What do these colors mean? You know, just because bright yellow is your favorite color, is that going to appeal to the clients that you want to appeal to? Again, it's about shifting into your ideal client shoes and going, are they going to get the message? You know, if my branding was red, I don't think that would work as well. That's like blood and broken heart and all the pain, you know. I don't want, mine needs to be softer. For me, for my brand, for my personality, that's what I want. So, you know, this is why your branding is key. It needs to reflect your key messaging. But a lot of the time, well, most of the time, coaches miss this. And they might be a great coach, but their branding is just not right, or it doesn't reflect their personality, or it doesn't reflect what they need to achieve with clients. And what I'm saying is, you can be a good coach with that. But to be an outstanding coach, which is what I want for you guys, this is what this is about, being an outstanding coach and growing a global coaching brand. You can't just be average. You're going to be average, and that's all that's all you'll get. What you put in is what you'll get out. You have to be above that. You have to be above the parapet. You have to be thinking on a bigger scale than that. And if you can get your branding so that it reflects your personality and your messaging and appeals to your clients, and then get that throughout everything. So that should be every piece of work you do, whether it's your website, whether it's your clinic, whether it's, you know, my clinic has a lot of reflects a lot of the colors and the branding that are on my websites. Everything comes together. Okay, and that's what I want for you. Your business card, everything should constantly be tying in. Also means you don't need to reinvent the wheel every time you create a product. You know, all my online products are all branded in the same sort of colors, the fonts, the marketing, the pictures, the logos, everything. So that's what I want for you. Come up with a logo. A logo is quite a catchy thing. You know, mine, I've got quite different logos for different products, but, you know, mine is an S and a D, which is about my name, but it also looks a bit like a wonky heart. So, you know, what is it for you? So these things are really important. And I think branding goes completely under the radar too often. Right, I'm gonna have to speed up, guys. I'm talking a lot here. Okay, now the bonus secret is you do need oomph and gumption to do this, okay? To be an outstanding coach, you have to work hard, you have to be passionate, you have to be prepared to keep going. And there's gonna be setbacks. You know, my journey was not all like this. You know, you do something, or you pay for an advert, or you try something and it doesn't work. But it's not what happens to you in life that defines you, okay? You might get the worst trauma, the worst setback. You might spend money on something and it might not work. It's what you do about it that makes you the person you are. And if you learn from that and go, okay, this hasn't worked, but I want to go on and I'm going to use this, and what have I learned from it? That's how you start to break through. So please don't give up at the first setback. Someone says, I don't want your article, or someone says, I don't like what you've written. then fine. But you can either improve what you've written if you think you can, or take it to somebody else who does like it. You know, don't take the step. I got told I couldn't. From day one, I had friends telling me, Sarah, this isn't going to take off. Who wants a divorce coach? It's so depressing. I'm like, no, I'm helping people transform. No. And in the UK, I've created a whole market for divorce coaches. I now have over 80 coaches in my community who train with me to become coaches, and they are busy with clients. This is how it works. I've got clients around the world coaching who've been trained by me. The beauty of what we do is we can create those transformations. You need the skills, but you need also these other secrets that I've given you, which give you that edge to take you from average to outstanding, okay? So, I mean, obviously I train people to become breakup and divorce coach practitioners. I have an online program, so I have people around the world who train with me. It's an online program with over 40 videos, which take you through all my techniques and strategies. So what I've talked about here, but I mean, there's 40 videos, guys. There's hours of this with videos and a manual you can download and print out as you go along. Then there's a coursework section at the end that you do and you send to me personally, and I mark it and grade it and get you to where you need to be to get you across the line. So that's what the program is. And at the end, you get accreditation, which is just from me and my company. It's not from any big organization, but just my company. But what it does is it gives you that stamp, an instant credibility with, you know, law firms. Most people globally will know me as the divorce coach. But also, you know, I've got 2 best-selling books, and people look up and see you've trained with an expert, a leading expert, then that gives you credibility. So if you did want to come in and specialize as a breakup and divorce coach practitioner, obviously I'm running a special offer for the show where you can save $1,000. There are pounds available on the website as well, sarahdavidson.com, if you want to check out the offers on there. But I'm offering you £1,000 off for those people who sign up during the show while the show's on. And Marina's going to put the links into the box for you in the chat box so you can have a look and click through. I am offering a free onboarding session with me so that I can show you a little bit about the program and find out a little bit more about your business and help you with defining your niche for those that sign up during the Best You. And you'll get access to my Business Booster webinars as well. And some of my coaches have gone on. I mean, this recently Caroline won the National Business Women's Award. That was 2018 she won, but she's also won lots of other awards in 2019, and I think she's won one recently. I haven't updated this slide yet, but I think she's won one in 2020, and she only trained in 2018 and she was winning awards within months. So you can grow a business if you follow these strategies and the other strategies that are in my program, and you can grow your coaching business. So I'm going to answer some of your questions and stay on because I know we get cut off in a couple of minutes. But one thing I would say that with OOMPH and GUMPTION, guys, anything is possible. You can do this. You can grow your coaching business. You know, when I was sat on a beach in Australia dreaming of doing this 10 years ago, and now I look to where I am now, I never dreamt that it could be this big or this successful, or generate me an income stream that I could live off. But actually, this is something that over time you work towards. And if you've got that gumption commitment, you put in the hard work in, combined with the skills and techniques, then you can do and you can grow a successful global coaching business. You can do this. I know you can. I believe in you. If you want any more help from me, then obviously do email me, sarah@sarahdavidson.com. You can book a call with me as well. If you visit, if you drop me an email, sarah@sarahdavidson.com, you can book in a call with me. Let me know what time zone you're in, and I can talk you through some of the program and how it works if you're interested in that. But Marina, are there any questions before we get cut off? Because I know we're coming up to the hour.
Yeah, we do have a question from Lee Greenbridge. He said, in the UK, in your experience, have you had any issues with using the word coach as what you do? He said most people put more weight into mentor or counsellor. Oh,
no, never. I mean, I think mentor is slightly differently. So mentor tends to be someone that doesn't get paid in my experience. So it's someone that maybe has got the business experience and then will mentor you, maybe who's higher up in a business or done, you know, I have a mentor who mentors me and I don't pay her. But then there's also, and counselling counselling is more sort of how does that make you feel? You know, and then there's therapy, which is more delving into the psychological issues. Coaching is a lot more results focused. I think people in the UK and in the States are very used to having a business coach, a fitness coach, a personal training coach, you know, so we're used to that. So I think coach no, not at all. And again, sometimes we can create these things in our head that stop us from doing things, but really just need to push through that. And I think coaching is really up and coming. I mean, the coaching industry is booming right now. It's just about how you get noticed in that growing industry, which is all about becoming the expert and having the niche and getting your branding right and combining that with the skills that blow the doors off that we were talking about. So Marina, were there any other questions? I hope that answers your question, Lee. I hope I gave you some information there. Marina, anything else?
Yeah, we do have one more question from Lee, actually. He was asking about, do you have any advice in moving somebody who's very in need of help, i.e. vulnerable after a breakup, to then bringing up the charging money element with them without losing your rapport with them?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, you can help people. I do a lot of work for free. So if you follow me on Instagram or any of my social media, I give away a lot of content for free. And I also have like very cheap products for people to sort of ease them in. So I might say, I might do it, you know, if you're doing a website, guys, definitely put a free download on there, which could just be a couple of pages, you know, with a nice PDF up, sort of saying, just giving them some tips and advice. Maybe refer them to that if you're worried about it. And then at the end of that, you've got to, you know, if you want more support and help, then obviously I offer coaching sessions. I mean, people these days expect that, you know, if you're a coach, that's how you make your money. That's your income. It's like, you know, you wouldn't go to the butchers and say, I'm just going to take this meat because I'm hungry. You'd say, well, how much do I owe you for that? You know, so you kind of have to think about it as that, you know, don't be afraid, because the thing is, if you know you can offer massive value to somebody, then that overcomes some of those reasons why you might be fearful of doing it. If they don't have money to come to you, then you know, ultimately they're not going to be able to afford you anyway. You can always offer a special offer on the first time. If they say, well, I don't really have any money, you can say, well, I'm doing a 50% off on the first try. Would you like to try that? And I'll give you one coaching session and see how you go. Or you could refer them to a cheaper product. So that's why it's great having a book. I mean, anyone can write a book these days, guys, and you can self-publish it. That's what I did with my second book. The first one had a big publishing deal, but you don't need that. You know, so don't let that stop you. But I would say that, yeah, you don't be afraid, because if you know, sometimes the more expensive things are, the more value people put in it. And if it's free, you know, it's like coaching friends. It's highly ineffective a lot of the time, because people don't expect, you know, if you're not charging, then they're not got their skin in the game. And what I would say is that what I found with coaching is you do need to charge something to get them to really be committed. You know, if you're not charging, then they're not going to do their action plan because they place no value on it. Whereas if they've committed financially to you, they've got more of a reason to make this work. So they're going to turn it around. So you'll find a lot more commitment with clients. And also, don't be afraid to lose a client. You know, if they walk away, it's genuinely because they can't afford it. You know, not everybody can afford you. And that's okay, you know, but you need to have a funnel where you've got more than just one person coming in, so you're not left worried if they leave. That's the trick. And hopefully using some of the techniques that we've gone through today. And if you missed the beginning, Lee, then obviously you can get this on, it will be recorded and it will be up on the Best You site. And you know, there's a lot of information that will help you with that, I hope. I hope that answered your question. Marina, are there any other questions?
No, that's it, Sarah.
Okie dokie. Well, you know where I am, guys. If you want to contact me, my website's saradavison.com, or do email me, sarah@saradavison, just 1d.com, and I'm happy to talk to you about the program in any more detail. If you want to take advantage of the offer, then please let me know. Follow the links. Marina, I think you've put some of the links in the chat box, have you?
I have, yeah, I have.
Okay. So click through, and yeah, I hope you've enjoyed it. I wish you all the best with your coaching business. Remember, you can do this. You can do this, and I'd love to hear from you in the future. So please do keep in touch and let me know how you get on, and enjoy the rest of the Best You show. Enjoy it. Mwah. Big hugs to everybody. Bye.